Hi everyone, this is Tricia with Easy E-mini Trade, and I just want to do a video on order flow and value areas and how you can use divergence in these areas to help better make your decisions if you're concerned about pulling the trigger that it's not going to go even though you're looking at the order flow and that should be enough to confirm. Also on Thursday, I'm going to do a webinar at 4 p.m. for Maria, so we'll do more on the order flow tools and the value areas during that webinar, as well as Maria will be there to answer questions, and there's going to be some really great deals available for anybody who is interested in the order flow products. So if you're not familiar with them, you really need to look into them a little bit more. Maria is www.tradeorderflow.com, and you can always send her an email asking for a one-day trial, and I'll put that information in the email that has this recording, so just look down at the bottom of the email. Okay, so let's get started. So on my left, this is the NQ today for Monday, February 2nd. So on the left I have the market profile chart for the NQ on an 8-tick range chart. You can put it on whatever you like. And then on the right I've got it on a 5-minute chart. Now normally I like to put the order flow on a range chart, like an 8-tick range chart or a 12-tick range chart, but it's been so fast in the mornings here basically since December, prices moving so fast that I found that the bars were moving a little too fast to read, so I went to a 5-minute, and I know Maria prefers the 5-minute. So on the left, we've got the high value area right here where the blue starts. That's the first high value area. Up here is the second high value area. The yellow is the fair value area. That's where 70% of trading has occurred. And this gets wider as the day progresses. And then here's the first low value area, second low value area, and these are previous high and low value areas from Friday. On the right side of the screen here I've got volume profile here. Now you can put this on the left. All this is interchangeable, and we'll go over more of that during the webinar, but for now let's just get started with what I want to talk to you about. So I have just a simple stochastic on here, and the settings that I use on those are 14, and I'll just show you, 14, 3, and 3. What I do is I don't draw the D line, I just like the one line, but you can do whatever you like. So I just set that D to transparent, and this is just a simple stochastic. You can get them where they, color with the slope or draw both lines. This is my way, so you do what you like. This is just what I like to do. So I am always looking for divergence, and if you're not familiar with divergence, I'm not going to go really into what divergence is in a big long explanation, but if you go to baby pips, BABYPIPS.com, and then in the search, just do a search for divergence cheat sheet, and that'll tell you exactly what it is. And I don't use hidden divergence, I just use regular divergence. So what I'm looking for is, for example here, we're coming down to the low value area. So this would be an area that we could buy off of, but as fast as this is moving, and I'm not saying that you could have traded or that you would have wanted to trade that early, or that you'd want to trade until the market's been open 5 minutes or so, whatever your plan allows for. But as we're coming down to that area, we're watching our order flow here. This is the bar that's forming over here on the right as we're moving down into this low value area, and you can see at that time we had negative divergence, and this is from 9:30 to 9:35. So you can see that we have negative divergence. So realistically you could short off that area. You wouldn't have gotten very much out of it, but what you could watch for is a retest of that area, or you could look for a bounce off that area as long as the order flow confirms it over here. So right here you can see when you've got divergence, you can see we've got lower lows in price. Well, here on my stochastic I have a higher low here than here, so that would lead me to believe that we're going to get a bounce. So if I see that, then I know, even though this delta is negative, and what the delta is the difference between the number of buy orders and sell orders. So this has more sell orders on this particular bar as it's forming. So normally you'd say, okay, let's go ahead and we can take that short, but seeing divergence, I know I'm due for a bounce. Not necessarily it's going to bounce and retrace back up to the high value area, but at least a bar or two it's going to retrace. So when you see that, you have a couple options. You could buy off of this low value area because you're expecting it to bounce with the divergence, or you could just sit on your hands, know that you're not going to take a short until you get a little bit more commitment out of it. So here, as we break through here, we still are on this bar as it's forming here. And this is, like I said, 9:30 to 9:35, and things were very fast. I'm not going to lie and say that they weren't. So it might be too fast for you. So you just wait until things quiet down. So then, as it retraces, we'd like to see it trade up to the point of control, which is up here at 41.47, but it never made it there. Let's say that it did. You could go ahead and short off that, expecting for a retracement, back down to the low value area. So that's one way you can use the divergence. The other way is when it gets down to the low value area here, you can see that we've still got divergence. So let me just show you here real quick. So as we're coming down to this low value area again, you can see that we've got lower lows in price. Let me just move this over here a little bit. Adjust that. There we go. So we've got lower lows in price while we still have higher lows on the stochastic. So that would, again, tell us that we're due for a bounce. Now, on this bar here, we're actually in the green. We've got positive delta. Now, what you can't see on this order flow chart is we have what's called an action bar where we've got the orders coming in of aggressive buyers and sellers, which is really helpful. You can't see it here because I've obviously scrolled back to the morning. But divergence here off the bottom, if you have positive delta, you could buy it, expecting it to find its way up to this first low value area here, and then ideally we would be looking for the point of control, and then if you can get through the point of control, we're looking for it to trade up to the first high value area, and then if it gets through that, then we're looking at the next high value area. So you can continually do that over and over. So I've scrolled this forward a little bit, and let me just show you here. So obviously we break down lower. So when we were coming down to this low value area here, a couple of things you can do is you can do a breakdown trade, just draw a line, and when price breaks through it, and you've got negative delta, you can go ahead and take a short, or you can just let it touch the low value area, retrace off of it, and then wait for the retest of the breakdown. And this was at about 9:40 this morning. And in looking at the bar that was forming at 9:40, we've got negative delta right here. And I know that that seems so simplistic, and a lot of times the delta will say negative, and it decides to bounce higher, but for the most part it's really accurate. So you could go ahead and short off that area there, and away you go. You got negative delta, it breaks the area, and you can wait for a break of the low of this bar here if you want, and then look to get in on the order flow telling us that we've got negative delta. Now as it's moving lower, I'm just going to point this out here. You can see we've got lower lows in price while we've got higher lows on the stochastic. So that would lead us to believe that we've got we're in line for definitely a bounce of some sort. Now you can see here, low here, lower low here, then here, higher low right here, then here. So you can see you actually get divergence a little bit earlier, and you get that little retracement. Now I'm not very comfortable buying off the bottom or selling the top unless I see divergence. So as long as you've got divergence, and you could use other ways of drawing support and resistance just based on the price action, whatever you're comfortable with. But when we get the divergence here, we actually have positive delta. This is the bar that's starting to form at that time. So again, you're not looking at this as it's forming real time, so it's a little hard to see. So these numbers are constantly changing down here. But at the time you did have positive delta, and you could go ahead and buy that. And what you would be expecting is if you could get through this area here that was holding, and I'll just kind of draw a line there for you guys. You can see hitting the wrong shortcut button here. Here we go. So you can see this general area here. So you could know that if you try to buy off the bottom here with the divergence and the delta agreeing, then you could go ahead and buy it and just have an idea that you might get stuck in this area here that was holding. And then if you can get through that, then you're looking at this value area low here, and then if you can get through that, then you're looking at this low value area here, back up to the yellow. Then when you get up to the yellow, you have a decision to make. Are you going to short it off of that, or are you going to wait for a retest? Again, how aggressive you are is up to the individual. So again, we're still on, was forming very quickly still at that time, but this is still the bar that's forming here, the bar that's got the positive delta here, right here. Now let me just put an arrow there. Maybe that'll be a little easier for you to see. Where are you here? There we go. So on this bar right here. So you can see right here coming up to this low value area, we've got positive delta. As we're hitting that area, holds it, so you could decide to buy this if it decides to break through this low value area, but it didn't. It held. So even though you've got positive delta, you're not looking to try to buy that because we don't know at this point if it's going to break through there. So you're waiting. You don't get it. Pulls back down to this low value area here again, and then retraces back up and holds. Now this would be a great place to try a short. Now the only thing is that depending on what was going on at the time, if you have positive delta, you're not going to try to short that there. But at the time there was actually negative delta, and I only know because I was looking at it real time. So again, you're looking at this as a static chart right now over here on the order flow, so it's a little difficult to see. I was going to do market replay, but I had some issues with it moving fast enough while I was recording it, so unfortunately I couldn't do that. But again, we've got divergence here. We've got equal highs on price. Well, we've got a lower high here on the stochastic. Now what we would be looking for eventually at some point is for price to trade back up to the point of control, which is this purple line, and then back up to this high value area. Of course, you never know when that's going to happen, but at some point during the day you can see it happen once, maybe twice. It just depends on the environment and how volatile it is. So if you are familiar with these value areas, or you're using the value areas, then you're looking to, buy from yellow to yellow, or short from this yellow area down to the blue. It's all dependent on what the order flow is telling us. Again, over here we've got divergence to the downside. Excuse me, the upside here. I'm trying to find my shortcut. I always have trouble with Ninja's shortcuts. I don't know why that is. So we've got divergence again to the upside. Scary to buy off the bottom, but again, it's going to be a personal choice. This is still the bar that is forming right here where this arrow is. So if you have positive delta at that time, you could go ahead and buy it. Now, I don't recommend trying to call the tops and bottoms when the market is so crazy and volatile. There are times where it's really easy to buy off the bottom when it's coming down to a known support area anyway, or sell off the top when it's coming up to a resistance area. But when you've got a really strong trending market, it's not probably the brightest move to try to buy off the bottom or sell off the top. You know, no offense, I'm not saying that in any disrespect, or don't mean any disrespect, but you know, you get burned enough times doing that, and you know, you're not going to do it anymore. It's one thing if you're at, like I said, a really strong area of support or a really strong area of resistance. So here, right here, you can see that we're coming up, back up to that value area. We don't quite hit it, but I want to just point this out anyway. We've got divergence to the downside. So ideally, if we were coming up to this low value area here and you see divergence to the downside, as long as the order flow confirms it with more sell orders than buy orders, then you can go ahead and take that. And that was the case on these bars right here. This was the bar that was forming. So let me just show you right here with an arrow. So this is the bar that was forming. And the reason I don't like a 5-minute chart so much on this order flow is when the market's volatile, we get these monster bars, and they're just so big in size that it's really hard to, you know, really hard to see, in my opinion. But anyway, I hope that that helps. I'll show you one more here, and I mean, and you're going to get the gist. And the thing about divergence is, it doesn't mean you're going to change directions completely, but you're due for a retrace of some sort, okay? So here we've got I don't know why these shortcuts, it drives me crazy. So I'm going to just have to do it here. Here, lower lows, higher lows, we get a bounce. And you'll see it over and over and over again. Now, I'm not saying to buy this here, but let's say, again, you're at a strong area of support. You could go ahead and buy it and capitalize on the retracement there. Ideally, what we would be looking for in a downtrend would be a retracement back up to the market profile, and then look for divergence in these value areas, or look for divergence in the area of the point of control, or look for divergence in the high value areas. Now remember, I said that we can often, well, what we're looking for often is from one end of the market profile to the other. So I just want to show you how this played out today. So when we've got a really strong trending market, a lot of times we'll be outside the profile, but eventually it catches up. And then what you would be looking for is a pullback to short, like in this area here. And you can see here, once again, we've got divergence, so as long as order flow confirms it, that can give you a little bit more confidence in trying to take that as a short off of that area on this pullback to that low value area here. So then we wind up breaking through. So you can be really aggressive and just buy it, or you can wait for a retest of that low value area and buy it, or you can wait till you have divergence in that area and buy it, or just confirm it with order flow and just buy it. So it really just comes down to your aggressiveness and your personal trading plan. Here, again, you can see that we're kind of meandering our way up higher here, but it retraces back down to the low value area here, and we've got divergence as we're coming down to that low value area. You can see here lower lows in price, higher lows in the stochastic. So with the confirmation of the order flow showing that you've got more buyers than sellers, you could go ahead and buy that. And worst case is that you're looking for a retest of this area, and then a retest of this area, and then you're hoping that it'll find its way up to the point of control. It didn't quite make it there here. Here I'm just going to show you this also, divergence to the downside. Now this would be in the middle of nowhere trying to short it. If it was up at the point of control, or you're trading off a smaller chart using other support and resistance areas, then there might be an area of resistance here that you could short off of. Here, same thing, divergence to the upside, but here we do have an area to buy off of. So this area was resistance because it hung here, so you can use that as the point where you had resistance. Comes down, holds that area as support, and you see divergence to the upside. You could go ahead and buy off that. Now it's risky. Of course, you're going to confirm it with order flow. What makes it risky is that it could wind up, finding its way back down here. So you make sure that you confirm it with order flow, and then you wind up bouncing up to that point of control. Now you can do nothing in the point of control because it's right smack dab in the middle of everything, and it could go either way. Or you get up to the point of control and you see divergence here to the downside. We have equal highs here on the stochastic while we've got a higher in price, so we would expect a pullback of some sort. Now obviously we don't know how big of a pullback, but likely it's going to be a couple bars anyway. Then we've got this area here that we had as resistance from back here. So looking to the left, you could decide, okay, well, I'll give that a shot, and I could wind up getting stuck here in this area, and then if it can get through that, then I would be looking over here. Also, what you'll look at is you can look at the volume areas on these charts. So let me just get you to where we're at here. All right, so I took the time. I had to pause you guys to scroll the charts ahead. But here you can see we've got volume on the order flow chart here. And we've talked about those suction areas or vacuum areas before. So if you decide to short off of this area here at 1053, this is the bar that's forming at that time right here in this area. Let me just scroll down here so you can see it a little bit better. So you can look to take that short and then just look at the price area that you're looking to take it, and then just see where we've got the next high volume area, and that's likely where you're going to find price will retrace back to. And so let's see, what time is that right there at 10:54. So realistically, this is the bar that is forming right here. And so you've got the negative delta. Looking here, you can compare what the previous bar was. Like here you've got positive delta, but it's so minuscule in comparison to what it was. So likely while you're watching the order flow come in, you'll see that the buy side will wind up slowing down. So I hope that helps. And again, I'll show you one more divergence area here. You can see here coming down to support. We've got divergence to the upside. So we've got lower lows in price while we've got higher lows on the stochastic, coming down to that area of support that we just drew here at 41.16. So you'd expect that that could bounce back up to the point of control. I started to show you the completion of that market profile. So let me just show you real quick. So here we are, finds its way back up to the top. And then back up to the top, keeps going. Then it winds up retracing back down to the high value area here. And you get the gist of the divergence because you can see up here, divergence. Here and here as we're coming up to the high value area, and also you get a topping tail on this bar, so you can go ahead and short that expecting a retracement back down to this area here. We got one of the value areas from Friday, and we also have the high value area for today right there as well. And then with order flow confirming it, you take it, and then you'll see it winds up moving lower back into value areas from Friday, kind of teetering back and forth, finds its way back down to the point of control here. And around the point of control, it can go either way, like I said. Here we get divergence to the upside, lower lows in price, higher low here than here, so you'd expect to bounce. So if you're aggressive, you could buy that expecting at least probably for it to retrace back up to the point of control. Divergence here to the downside off of Friday's value area right here. So you can see higher highs in price, lower highs here on the stochastic. You could short it. You actually could have shorted it here, right here. I'll just draw a line right there. You still had divergence, lower low here and then here, and then it retraces, then it moves higher, still divergence, higher high here than here, lower high here than here, and then you'd expect a pullback. So anyway, I hope that helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Otherwise, I hope to see you all on Thursday at 4 o'clock. Take care, you guys.